Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. And the hey now. I think the burritos gotten into my head because now I feel like I'm sick.
Okay, wait, that's probably psychosomatic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Get it out of your head,
That's
Andrew.
stinking thinking, man. Stinking thinking. Get it out.
Should have never brought it up. That'd have been fine. Jerry says, don't forget his role as Carl's daddy in Sling Blade.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I just watched that last week.
You watched Sling Blade last week?
Yeah, I just got the hankering. I forgot about that.
I brought it up to Peyton this weekend. I was like, man, I've been trying to think of old movies that were really good, like that I saw years and years ago that you likely haven't seen, and I think Sling Blade's probably one of them.
Yeah, I've got a list. My son Mason, who's 25, his girlfriend, soon to be fiance, there's certain movies she refuses to watch, and he's got a list that he wanted to watch from the 90s, 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And let me bring that list because it's pretty darn good. You can look it over.
Oh, his fiance's already refusing to watch movies.
Yeah, well, but she's going to be a corporate lawyer, so.
Oh, wow.
You know,
okay, yeah, we
she's
let
good.
that slide.
Yeah.
We'll let that slide.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to watch a movie with me ever.
Ever again, darling.
That's funny. That's funny. And maybe maybe your AI girlfriend's going to be a corporate lawyer. Who knows? Things could be looking up for all of us.
I'm worried now. One day with her, and I'm worried.
I saw something interesting as we were talking about people that have passed away, like just larger than life people. Dale Earnhardt was obviously one of them. And I bring this up because Daytona was it Daytona over the weekend?
Was it
Daytona 500?
Was it last week?
You sure?
Or over the weekend? It may have been over the weekend.
I think it was over
Probably.
the weekend. And I didn't watch it. I usually, if I watch NASCAR, it's usually just Talladega, just for the sake of, feeling like I'm supporting the home turf.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I mean, Sunday.
Sunday. Who won? Does it say?
Yeah, Reddick won.
Okay.
And
oh yeah, that's right. It was Jordan's team, Michael Jordan's
Yes.
team. Did you see the video where he was like seemingly was that Reddick's son? That he was like he looked like he was grabbing his butt or something.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, that was.
I think that was Reddick's little boy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was so excited, and he's probably good friends with.
He was so excited he grabs a little boy's
butt.
butt.
He's going like pinch.
No, okay. So here, let me say this because I actually investigated that a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I say I investigated it. Actually, Bubba and the crew investigated it. They're big into racing, as you know, and they came to the conclusion that the boy had I guess got caught up in the Gatorade bath or whatever that they did after the race, and so he had ice stuck to his back and his legs.
Oh.
And Jordan was behind him getting
trying to
that
shake
ice
it
off.
out. Yeah.
Yes, he was trying to shake the ice off of him. So there wasn't anything nefarious there. Michael Jordan's not in the Epstein files.
No.
Like,
and he was being
nothing.
nice. He was being a daddy, sort of.
Yeah, so it was completely innocent. But people, some outlets took it out. Because it did, I mean, at first glance, you're kind of like, whoa, what are you doing here, buddy? That's a little weird. But no. MJ was just trying to help the kid out.
Did you see the picture they took? It's iconic. He just happened to be the way he was holding
the
a trophy, just like back in the 90s. Yeah. Oh, I've got goosebumps.
it was pretty cool to see somebody like Michael Jordan being successful. And now, granted, Michael Jordan didn't drive the car, and he wasn't part of the pit crew, but
he's very involved. When he takes on something, just like with basketball, he's all in.
I'm personally happy for him. I have the argument with my kid all the time. He says that LeBron James is the GOAT, and I'm like, no, he's not. MJ's the GOAT. It's and that's going to be a generational argument. And then once Peyton has kids and his kids are teenagers, there's going to be the next Jordan or the next LeBron, and they're going to be like, this guy's the GOAT. Peyton's going to be like, no, he's not. LeBron's the GOAT. But that's just for basketball. Now, if you were to put them in, different arenas like, I don't know, reading a book, LeBron James couldn't couldn't hold the candle to Michael Jordan.
No,
or
Michael's very learned.
he couldn't hold the candle to a fourth grader. You know, LeBron James can't even read.
Yeah.
You remember that one time he was reading that book and it was upside down? It's like, what are you doing, bro? You're reading the book upside down. That's how good at reading he is. He read it upside down. Anyway, I bring all that up to bring this up. So Dale Earnhardt Sr. Passed away 25 years ago, which is hard to believe. It's been 25 years.
Wow.
Since we lost Dale Earnhardt in the Daytona 500. Outkick, the outlet, Clay Travis's outlet Outkick, actually did an interview in the lead up to Daytona with Dr. Steve Bohannon, who was the medical director of emergency medical services at Daytona International Speedway on the day Dale Earnhardt crashed on his final lap. He, in this interview, revealed that when Earnhardt made it to the trauma bay, he knew he wasn't going to make it. It's the first time that anybody's kind of heard the backstage details of that day. Because if you go back, it was such a weird thing. It was like a very...
It didn't look that bad.
No,
I was watching it.
It seemed like a minor wreck, and yet it ended up costing him his life. Here's what he said in the interview. He said, I think everybody knew at the scene. Everybody knew that he had passed away at impact. I knew all the medics, and they shook their heads when they saw me walk up. Here, well, let me back up a little bit. He says in the interview, I went in and checked his pulse and saw the blood coming from his ears and from the airway and knew it was a basal skull fracture and that he had no sense of life. Man. And then going back, he said everybody knew at the scene. Everybody knew that he had passed away at impact. I knew all the medics, and they just shook their heads when they saw me walk up. I went in and checked his pulse and saw the blood coming from the ears and the airway. Bohannon later added that while the crash itself didn't look fatal, he wasn't surprised at the end result. Quote, when the car stops, the body keeps moving. And when your body quits moving, your brain keeps moving and decelerates inside your skull, and the forces are tremendous. Still, they had to try, he said. He goes on to say, we gave him the benefit, like we do all the drivers, and tried to do everything we could. Earnhardt was put on a stretcher and loaded into the ambulance along with Bohannon. Halifax's trauma center is less than a mile away. The two sat in the back. Bohannon intubated him, administered IVs, and did what needed to be done to save Earnhardt. When they got to Halifax, the trauma team immediately went to work. Over the years, the story has changed. Some say he was quickly pronounced dead. Not true, says Bohannon. He said, quote, we worked on him for at least 30 minutes. We took x-rays, put chest tubes in. You know, we did a lot. In an effort to honor Earnhardt, Richard Childress Racing had the black number 3 on the back of all its cars at the Daytona 500, which is cool. Yeah, there's the logo right there. That's cool. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die, as they say.
Yep.
And Dale Earnhardt was an absolute legend, man. But sometimes, and I have this thought often, it's kind of like, you know, when somebody like that passes away in an untimely death, like they go too soon, as sad as it is, it solidifies them as a legend.
Yep.
And it also prevents them from, in their old age, becoming some sort of victim of Trump derangement syndrome and a flaming lib. Imagine what world we would live in if Dale Earnhardt was some sort of liberal.
don't say that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, Earnhardt is is leading protest against ICE in Minnesota, and Kurt Cobain is a Democrat running for office.
Yeah, I don't want to live in that world.
It just
no, thank you.
But like that could easily happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it over and over. We've watched Jimmy Kimmel go from the Man Show to
Oh
being
my
to
gosh.
crying on his own late night show. We've watched, people like Rosie O'Donnell who have suffered tremendously, Kathy Griffin, all these different individuals that you were like, oh, they'll never become some sort of they'll never turn into a communist, and yet over time what happens?
Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, man. So we never had to suffer through Dale Earnhardt becoming a liberal. Not that he even would, but I'm just saying we
This good
avoided
old
the
Southern boy.
possibility.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I don't think you would have either. I really don't. Let me move on. When we get back from this break, let me move on to Savannah Guthrie, the latest on that. I'll be honest with y'all, and I know this sounds insensitive, but I'm kind of getting tired with this story. Like it's just not moving,
Right.
and there's no answers. That it doesn't make sense that there's no answers. And the more I watch it, the more conspiratorial I get. I mean, I find myself asking, like, does Savannah Guthrie really know what's going on? Like, is she involved? Not that that's the case. I'm just saying, like, the fact that this is stories like this don't just sit in one place. They advance, they move, they change, they get closer to a resolution. This one is not. And it's making me think weird thoughts.
It's
It's
very odd.
and your gut tells you stuff, and you're kind of like, well, is my gut right, or is that a Texas cheesesteak burrito that was left out overnight? I don't know. We'll see. But all that and more coming up right after this. 205-545-9950. 545-9950. My Aunt Julie texted me, said that my papa is at her house right now, and they're listening to the show. I don't think he gets to listen often. He lives out in Atlanta, and she said they're listening, and he comes walking in and says, "That's the craziest program. They will talk about anything." Little does he know,
this show covers everything from 18 to 84. We've got them all.
Yeah, I know. People come up to me and they're like, "Hey, man, what's your ratings? What's your demographic? Like, what kind of people listen to you? Like, what's the age range?" And I'm like, I mean, they're all over the place.
You name it.
I mean, we got kids skipping school, skipping high school, and listening to the show. And we've got people that are in their 80s and 90s. We got people in prison that listen to us.
Yep.
Like, we're all over the place.
We love everybody.
That's right. A very diverse group. Also, Angry Carrie texts in, says, "Are there any black people in the Epstein files?"
Interesting. Well, Diddy's got to be right in there.
I don't know that there's been any Diddy reference.
Well, he's got his own empire.
That's the black Epstein, was Diddy.
Yeah.
Naomi Campbell's in there. Oh yeah, and she's not just in there; she's in there.
She's a super freak. Super freak.
Yeah, she's
got that look in her eye anyway.
She is deep off in the Epstein files. I can even tell you a little bit about that as we go on. But it's wild, man. What's come out, by the way, over the weekend, another 3+ million pages released of the Epstein files, and it's just as crazy as we expected it to be. What's funny to me, though, is there are people that really haven't paid that much attention to it, and they're now all of a sudden looking into it, and they're like, "Oh, my God." It's like, yeah, well, we've been
And they wanted them all released, but they're doing just pieces of it, and it's 3 million pages. You release the whole thing, it's unfathomable.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot. And people aren't going to – the people that have been screaming for it for so long are not going to be happy with – what's not in there, because some of the stuff just simply doesn't exist, and that's the sad reality of it. But there's also things that we are being told that are true about everything surrounding Epstein that I still don't believe, such as Epstein killing himself and whatever. But, another topic for another time. Let's get into Savannah Guthrie real quick. The Pima County Sheriff released a statement over the weekend about the Guthrie family members as possible suspects in the abduction case, which is what I was saying. My gut is telling me that that maybe the family members are involved. And who knows if Savannah Guthrie's involved? I don't know. But they said on Monday, they said yesterday, that they have cleared Nancy Guthrie's family members as possible suspects in the abduction case. They claim they're working with them, that there's nothing that leads them to believe that they're involved in any way. That means Tommaso, what's the guy's name? Tommaso Cioni is his last name. That's Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, who was the last person to see her alive. He's been ruled out as a suspect. A lot of people were raising red flags about him, saying, wait, he was the last one. Because it's weird when you think about, so she goes to hang out with family one night. This is on a Saturday night, and doesn't go back home until like 10. And not only goes back home so late, but the family members she's hanging out with don't even take her home. They have her get an Uber. And we don't know if she insisted on getting an Uber or if the family members were like, no, we don't want to drive you, or what. But it's kind of weird. Kind of weird. The FBI raided a home 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home this weekend, which ended up being fruitless. 3 people were detained, but police didn't make any arrests. Law enforcement still has not identified a suspect in the case more than 2 weeks after she was abducted from her home. Although, meanwhile, TMZ continues to get letters from some anonymous person who says that he knows who's got her and where she's at, and he's demanding money. to give up the information. In some of the letters, I guess in the last letter, because he sent 2 letters, and in the second one, he's like, "This is my last letter." And then he sent a third letter, and he's like, "No, seriously, this is my last letter." And now he sent a fourth one. He says that he fears the repercussions. The people that took her would come after him because they would know it's him. He also mentioned that it's they, meaning multiple people that have kidnapped her. Also, he mentioned something about south of the border, which makes me believe that she is
Sounds like slip ups.
yeah, makes me feel like she's in Mexico. I don't even think she's in the U.S., which creates an even bigger problem. On top of that, and this goes back to the family thing, Savannah Guthrie puts out this video, and she is tearfully pleading with her mother's kidnappers in an attempt to find compassion within the people that have perpetrated this. I don't know. It's almost like she's trying to connect with them in some way. Listen to this.
We still have hope, and we still believe. And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. We believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
I don't like to judge the reactions that human beings have to tragedy because everyone is different. Everyone's going to react different.
Right.
But there's something about that one I'm kind of like, it's just, you're like,
Something's off.
yeah, I don't know, man. She's like, you're a good person. You're not lost, almost like a dear captors, we're here for you. We're gonna take care of you if you just get her mom back. But I don't have any reason whatsoever to not believe the police when they say they believe that the family members are in no way involved. I have no reason to distrust or not believe that. But the fact that we're just still at square one, it makes me like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. It's just we're just dragging along with no answers, and that doesn't happen in these cases. Usually we have maybe not a resolution, but we're moving closer to said resolution, and that's not the case here. Donald Trump issued a warning to Nancy Guthrie's abductors, which was much different than what Nancy or Savannah Guthrie said about the captors. He said, he told the New York Post Monday that those responsible for kidnapping Nancy Guthrie must release her unharmed or they will face the most severe federal penalties. He said he would want the Justice Department to seek the death penalty if the 84-year-old mother of the NBC Today Show host, Savannah Guthrie, is killed. The president said the abductors would face a very, very severe, the most severe federal consequences if Nancy Guthrie is found dead after being abducted from her home outside Tucson on February 1st. Asked if that meant the DOJ would request the death penalty, Trump answered, quote, "The most, yeah, that's true." So he's calling it. He's like, death penalty, Willie. That's what we want if we find out who these scumbags are. TCW Construction bringing you this part of the show. TCW, my buddy Trent. Man, love what they do at TCW. Just a fantastic job. Outdoor projects of any kind, as you always hear me say. They just they get after it. I've told y'all this story before, but there was one time, and I don't remember the specific project, but it was they were putting together a retaining wall. I think it was for a business or something like that, and so they were out on the side of the highway working, and I think it was 2 or 3 different cars pulled over the course of them doing that project and said, "Hey, could y'all come do that at my place? Like, that is fantastic work." And when you've got people pulling over on the side of the road to talk to a construction company and say, "Hey, I like your work. Can you come help me out?" That says a lot. And these guys have a reputation of that, man. There's a lot of word of mouth out there, and people saying, "Hey, you need to use these guys, this, that, and the other." They just they do what they say. They do it at a fair price, and they get the job done. There's a lot of fly-by-night companies out there that don't. I mean, it's just the reality. TCW is the exact opposite, man, and you should see some of the work that they do. You can find it on their Facebook. You can also go to tcwconstructionco.com and see it. I'm looking at it right now. All the pictures right there, man. What a great looking website, by the way. Call them up if you got questions, if you want to pitch an idea to him, or you want him to come out to your place and give you a quote on something you and the wife or you and the husband have been wanting to get done. 205-389-3536 is the number. 205-389-3536. Remember, tcwconstructionco.com. tcwconstructionco.com. Man, that is a good-looking website right there. I like it.
It is. I've been there before. It is sharp.
I like it a lot. All right, so Savannah Guthrie stuff. We'll tell you anything that pops up on that front. We'll let you know. I just, where do you go with it? Then you've got this other situation out of Rhode Island where a father attending I assume this is a high school hockey game, stands up, they're in the stands, stands up and starts to essentially execute members of his family.
What?
Yeah, you have not heard the story yet?
No.
Yeah, so this guy stands up, shoots and kills 3 members of his family during this high school hockey game at Lynch Arena in Rhode Island yesterday. He is identified as Robert K. Dorgan, 56 years old, of North Providence. And you probably are going to ask yourself, why would a father do such a thing? What caused this individual to snap? And I can tell you what caused him to snap. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Robert K. Dorgan goes by the name of Roberta Esposito and identifies as a woman.
Okay. Yeah. I figured as much.
There it is. There it is. He's transgender. And I know that's shocking to many of you. He was the parent of a player on the North Providence High School hockey team. His son that was on the ice at the time was unharmed, but unfortunately 3 of the family members are dead. Then, from what I understand, he turned the gun on himself. These are, I don't know how many of these stories we have to do before people finally admit that there is something wrong. And this is not just we've got several instances of tragedy striking this particular community or people snapping because they're this ethnicity or this color or whatever. We're talking about if you want to call it a community, we're talking about a group of people that they're identifying, or their common factors, their common denominator that links them all together is a mental illness. the one thing that they all have in common, no matter how different they may be, is transgenderism,
Mm-hmm.
which is a mental illness. There is no way around it. And the red flags were everywhere, as they always are. The day before the shooting, Sunday, he was taking shots at Alex Jones on the internet, saying, okay, so this is, again, the day before, he comments on a post. This is a reply. I don't even know who Alex Jones was replying to. And this is just happenstance. Alex Jones has no tie to this individual. But he replies to an Alex Jones reply that says something about so creepy. I don't know what he was posting on or whatever. I didn't see the original post. But this Roberta Esposito or whatever this trans calls himself, he responds to Alex Jones saying this, STFU, Alex. You know what STFU stands for.
Mm-hmm.
He said, don't be so butthurt over somebody different, then wonder why trans people go effing berserk. How telling is that? The day before he committed this atrocity, he says, you shouldn't be wondering why trans people go berserk. 24 hours later, he himself went berserk. He also, in another reply to actor Kevin Sorbo, said, quote, keep bashing us, but do not wonder why we go berserk. Same sentiment.
And you won't hear about that anywhere on the mainstream media.
No, absolutely not. Now, here's what's crazy. Despite the transgender insanity, it appears, according to previous posts, that Dorgan was right-wing or a Trump supporter of sorts at one time, which is irrelevant when you have a mental illness. Dorgan even replied to a news article from a conservative site asserting that he's a post-op transgender, meaning he had his wee Willie Winker cut off at some point and he is going all the way and pretending to be a girl, and that he was a Trump supporter in 2024. The article that was posted that he replied to here, and this is going through his social media. It was an article about trans Netflix star Laverne Cox plans to hoard estrogen following Trump's victory. This was from November 9th, 2024, and says America will be just like Nazi Germany. So it's a story about a trans actor on Netflix that plans to hoard estrogen because Trump won. And this trans person out of Rhode Island replied to that article saying, trans my whole life, post-operation, back Trump 100%, love America. They don't stand for me. They don't speak for me. F these commie a-holes. He frequently commented also in support of Thomas Massey, which might make a little more sense, but whatever. It's just weird. Like, there's a lot of different aspects to this. He even noted, it was noted by one journalist that Dorgan had posted on his X account that his wife hated the person who stole her husband, meaning him. He said, my wife says she hates the person who stole her husband. I think it's extremely important to take special care of those who stand by us, listen and understand what they are going through for our sake. Now, with the other stuff that he had been posting, it doesn't really line up with the whole I support Trump, so maybe that was a gag. I have no idea. He also, in another tweet, in a reply to somebody named @transsingle, said, as describing himself, trans woman, 6 kids, wife, not thrilled. Alluding to the fact that he and his wife had serious problems. And there were domestic, according to multiple reports, there were other domestic situations. It says early in 2020, Dorgan went to the North Providence Police Department and reported he had recently undergone gender reassignment surgery and that his father in law wanted him out of their North Providence home because of it. I don't know if they were maybe renting the home from his father in law or what. Dorgan told police his father in law, who also was named Dorgan, which is weird, threatened to, quote, have him murdered by an Asian street gang if he did not move out of the residence.
What?
According to documents. This is the trans person's father in law back in 2020. Dorgan, who said he had lived at the home for 7 years, told police that the father in law told him, quote, there's no GD way a tranny is going to stay in my house. Father in law sounds like an old school guy. the father in law was charged with intimidation of witnesses and victims of crimes and obstruction of the judicial system. Prosecutors later dismissed the charges. Around the same time, Dorgan's then wife, Rhonda Dorgan, filed for divorce. Under grounds for divorce, Rhonda initially wrote, quote, gender reassignment surgery, narcissistic personality disorder traits. The reasons were then, in the paperwork, crossed out and replaced with irreconcilable differences, which have caused the immediate breakdown of the marriage. Which was probably like, hey, you gotta, have a technical term on there or something. That divorce was finalized in 2021. Dorgan also accused his mother of assault in 2020, leading her to be charged with simple assault and battery and disorderly conduct, and that was later dismissed. So this is just a whole a mess of a family in general, but it all revolves around this guy, who, as we stated, I mean, this is pretty cut and dry. Like this is not complicated. You've got a guy with a mental illness who brought a firearm to a high school hockey game, started blasting his own family members because he had a tumultuous relationship with his family. But again, the transgender thing, you're not going to be able to get past that. Very sad story all the way around. But we got to stop pretending like this is normal, dude. We got to stop pretending like this is normal behavior. The trans community, that the trans people are just normal individuals like me and you. They just identify different. They were born this way. They feel. I watched a cartoon the other day that popped up on my feed, and it was obviously geared towards children, and it was talking about how sex is what your body parts are, but gender is what you feel on the inside.
So sick of that.
And sometimes they don't match. It's just science. And it's not. It's everything but science. Your phone call's next, 205-545-9950. Don't go anywhere. I want to put this out real quick. Our buddy E, that we all know and love, calls the show. Lost his dog Bentley today.
Oh man, today?
Yeah. And so we just wanted to let him know we were praying for him, and hate that happened.
Man.
I talked to him a little bit over the weekend, or yesterday, as a matter of fact, about it. And, you get in a position, you get in a place where, your dog or your pet that you love so very much is reaching the end of their life, and they're suffering, and you have to make tough decisions. And it's kind of like where that, and in this case, where that dog has been there for you for so many years and through so many ups and downs in life. You get to the point where you've got to do something for the dog, and you've got something you don't want to do in order to end their suffering. And it's it's a favor. It really is. It's a favor to an animal you love, even though you don't want to leave it.
It's a tough decision.
It's just one of those things. All right, let's hit some phone lines real quick. First, let me go to Avery. Avery, what's up?
It's a tough decision. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man.
Hey, is this Talk 99.5?
It is.
Okay.
This is Andrew.
I was just hollering. This was John Berg and Andrew Mclain.
That's us, man. You got it.
I hear you. Well, isn't John Berg, isn't that from the Anchorman with Will Ferrell?
Is it John Bird and Anchorman?
I don't know. I didn't think that was a John Bird.
The main character.
Well, you mean like is John Bird Will Ferrell? I mean, you could make that argument at times. Yes, I could see that.
Oh, I hear you. Well, I just want to give a call in. I've always tried to reach out. It's my first time reaching out.
Nice.
All right, Avery. We appreciate you calling, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too.
Yeah, it's actually Ron Burgundy.
No. John Burgundy.
Yeah, some people think John Berg instead of John Berg.
Oh, John Berg. You're John Burgundy. Okay. I was very confused by that. But thank you for calling the show, Avery. Not all of our calls have to make sense, right?
That's right, man.
Let me go to let's go to Bill next. Bill, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Andrew and John. First of all, condolences to the gentleman who lost his dog. I know how that is. That's tough. And well, I was there when I had to put one down, and it's a pretty tough thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, second, as I was listening to the early part of the story about the guy in Rhode Island, I wondered, before you went into some of all the details about how they had various incidents, I wondered, what could you do with someone? I mean, what does one do with someone who's defined as transgender? I mean, or who calls themselves that? I mean, you automatically label them as crazy. Maybe, you can't any longer put them in I don't think we're really able to assign people to mental institutions. We kind of got past that. We've got a lot of people who have mental issues. Now, there have been suggestions about maybe not letting certain people have weapons. You could call into a police department maybe and say, we got an issue here. We've had some trouble. This person should no longer be allowed a weapon. Anyway, it's just a question in my mind of what do you do? I hear what you're saying about maybe, we've got a societal problem here. I don't know.
It's in this case, you had a lot of red flags for this particular individual, right, even though that may not always be the case. And no, you can't commit someone that is an adult to a mental institution, which, as you've noted, a lot of those have been shut down over the years. Barack Obama played a big role in getting a lot of those shut down, which ended up resulting in mentally ill individuals being on the street. But that's another story. But for somebody that's an adult that's just simply transgender and there's nothing else going on, like they've never caused any problems or whatever, you can't do that. But in these cases where there are so many red flags, you do have to consider, and you got to really rely on the family to make some moves in order to, whether it is taking away guns or getting them committed. We really don't even see that a lot in the older trans community. It's usually some of the younger individuals that have, during the most important times of their lives where they're growing and they're changing and all of this, they've been pumped with hormone blockers or whatever else when they eventually snap after so many years. But that's those are two separate topics, from the young people and then the old people. It's about red flags at the end of the day. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think you're right. Individuals need to take responsibility. What's the other thing I want to chime in on? You mentioned in your promo about, I guess, how people are making money off declining health in the U.S. I don't know if you recall that, but it's in your current ad, I think, or promo that you put in. And I guess what I was thinking about, if we look at, say, over the past 30, 40 years, since, say, 1980, if we're on declining health, wouldn't you expect life expectancy to be declining over that time?
Not necessarily. Declining health doesn't always equate to death. I mean, the declining health and the profitization of that has been to pump people full of medication to maybe keep them alive, but keep them riddled with side effects, which then require more medication, which then makes pharmaceuticals even more money.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just going to say, I don't think life expectancy would back up your case.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to do with life expectancy. But anyway, listen, Bill, I appreciate it, buddy.
Okay, thanks.
Always a lively conversation with Bill. And oh man, I was gonna get Gary in here, and I don't have time. Gary, I'm so sorry. But if you'll hang around, I can get you on the other side, buddy. I get you on the other side. Yeah, going back, I don't even know the context of that conversation because in the promo, sometimes in those promos, they're from like weeks earlier. But there's no doubt that the pharmaceutical companies, in collusion with the food producers or the food companies, have made a whole lot of money on your declining health.